Lufan just made a gesture, and with that one gesture, death became a floating air. Everyone had fallen to the ground except for Long Jyn. Quiet, cold, dead. There was a red silence all around. Long Jyn, now kneeling down, his face covered in dust and tears. He extended his hand towards Lufan. "Please, don't kill me. I will be yours. I will always obey you." Lufan's eyes were cold. There was no hatred, no mercy on his face. Just peace. He paused for a moment, then spoke, in a low voice. "Keep your dirty hands away from me. I'm not going to kill you, but I want you go back alive and tell your family everything. Just like I told you last time. But this time, don't hide anything." Long Jyn, who was ready to die, suddenly started breathing. There was a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "You are letting me go? Thank you. Thank you, Lufan. I understand. I understand." He bows his head again and again. The gratitude of being saved has now become the fear that binds his legs. But he doesn't know that. Lufan didn't let him go. He sent him away, as a living warning. Lufan looked back, his eyes still fixed on Long Jyn, who was now just a broken name. Then his voice resounded, soft but hard enough to crack rocks. "Return to your family immediately. Tell them, within 3 days. All the resources they took from your ancestors must be returned. Every area, every corner that doesn't belong to you must be given up. From now on, tribute must be paid to the Long family." He took a few more steps, but then paused and stared for the last time. 3 days. If they don't listen to me, then I will erase the Long family name from history. Do you understand, Long Jyn? Long Jyn's face turned ashen. His lips trembled and he bowed his head. "I understand, Lufan. I will listen to you in every way." He was still alive, but he was no longer that Long Jyn who had come here. The elder sister signaled, "Officers, escort this person out of the mansion." At the command, 2 armed officers stepped forward, dragging Long Jyn out of the mansion without any respect, like an unclean object. The palace gates open. Long Jyn is dragged out. 2 officials, who once trembled at his name, now burst into laughter. "See? This is what happens to arrogance. Did the Long family think this mansion was their fiefdom? Now they will tremble at Lufan's name." Another official spits. "He made Big Sister cry so much, now he's got his due revenge." Long Jyn collapses to the ground. His face is covered in mud. His clothes are dirty with blood and dust. He lies there, burned by the fire of humiliation more than the weight of his words. His eyes widen, as if he can't believe he's now at Lufan's mercy. His words, "If I don't get an answer in 3 days, I'll wipe out the entire Long family." Long Jyn, the same man who once walked proudly, now lay on the ground trembling with trembling lips. There was terror in his eyes and a storm in his heart. He killed everyone, the second brother, his followers, in an instant. When I take this news home, who will believe it? No one will believe that Lufan did something like that, without moving, without fighting. At that moment, 2 officers came running. They saw Long Jyn still standing there as if his spirit had left. One officer shouted, "Why haven't you left yet? Get out of here!" But Long Jyn just stood there. There was a sound in his ears, but his mind was numb. The other officer shouted, "Don't you love your life? Get out! Do you want to die?" Suddenly, Long Jyn regained consciousness. He looked at the 2 and screamed in fear, "Don't kill me!" He ran, as if the ground was shaking beneath him. The officers standing behind smiled. "See, we still have power in our voices. We can even scare ghosts." Running away, Long Jyn saw the shadow of Lufan's dragon. This shadow is called 0% shadow. Does it allow secret entry or exit? Secret entry is not cancelled if discovered. As soon as Long Jyn saw the shadow dragon, he became frightened and quickly ran away, saying, "Didn't we overlook it? It was here from the beginning?" Long Jyn was soaked in sweat. His breathing was heavy. His legs were trembling. He had been running for half an hour, as if he was being chased by a ghost. He was now close to the western border, where another storm was about to erupt. At the same time, a strong group was advancing from the other direction, not their horses, but a group riding flying beasts, led by Huang Yuan. The ancestor has received news that the Long family has sent dozens of third-level servants today, a disciple said. Huang Yuan, a level 98 warrior, sniffed. They? Just 60-70 level worthless drunkards. Not worth mentioning. Just then, a scene ahead caught everyone's attention. A man was running, staggering, his clothes covered in mud, his hair disheveled. "Young master, look ahead." "Who is that man?" "Huang." Yuan squinted his eyes and instantly recognized him. "Hey, it's Long Jyn." Then he said with a light laugh, "Look at him, running for his life, struggled between noble families and now in this state." "Yuan's swordmaster must have run away like this too," Huang sneered. His level had increased, but his courage and strategy, they were mediocre. One of the disciples added, "Yeah, his level is close to 90, nothing compared to your 98. But the young master suddenly turned serious. "Stop your nonsense. Everyone head east at full speed. Don't waste our time." A disciple whispered, "Why is master thinking so deeply?" Huang Yuan flew over and said, looking at Long Jyn's condition, "I know it's not easy this time. There's something else going on in this battle." About half an hour later, officers were still stationed in front of the palace, and landing in front was Huang Yuan and his entourage. One officer said to another, "Hey, who are they now?" The other whispered, "Keep calm. Looks like another noble family has arrived. Quickly inform Miss Yi." And beyond the palace walls, new commotion had begun. But then Huang Yuan signaled the officers. "Wait, you two don't need to panic," he said, calmly. But there was something else in his eyes. The two officers paused for a moment. Perhaps they had just breathed a sigh of relief. Snap. Huang swung both his hands in the air. His palms became as sharp as knives, and in a moment, the necks had been cut. A fountain of blood spurted out, and the officers fell to the ground, motionless. The other officer standing nearby trembled. His eyes widened. "Miss Yi, save me!" He ran screaming. "The Huang family is committing murder!" But the scream remained incomplete. Huang Yuan raised his hand. Red flames rose from the middle of his palm, as if an ancient volcano had awakened again. "You can't run away," he said coldly. As the familiar light emerged, the wind died down. Huang Yuan's eyes hesitated for a moment. "Miss Yi," he mumbled. Wrapped in a golden aura, Miss Yi took to the air. The moment her footsteps touched the ground, the entire compound shook once. Her eyes were calm, but her voice was full of fire. "You killed our people in broad daylight. Does your noble family have no righteousness left?" As she stepped forward, a divine energy spread out in all directions, as if even the sky trembled with her anger. Then her voice became harsher. "Since you have struck first, there will be no more discussion. Get ready. Today there will be a war in the name of justice." Big Sister immediately appeared. There is not fear in their eyes, but the calm resolve that only a warrior can have. No matter how many of you are, if you try to advance, not a single one will survive. Huang Yuan laughs, but his laughter is laced with venom. "Do you really think you can stop us?" He raises his hand, and at that moment, the white jade sword appears. His blade screams in light with a special power that reveals every hidden enemy, shatters every illusion. "Look here," he says. "Even your hidden traps are useless now." And the sword's wave heads straight for Big Sister. Big Sister retreats, but doesn't flinch. The light strikes her shield, but she still stands. Huang Yuan roars, You won't be able to escape this time. Now you will receive the real lesson of taking on the lord of a noble family. The followers standing behind charge forward together, weapons gleaming in their hands, killing intent in their eyes. Big Sister stands alone, but her heart does not waver. But then, the sky was torn apart. There was a roar, as if an ancient spirit had reawakened. The clouds burst open, shrouded in waves of fire, and there appeared Long Jyn's dead brother. Everyone's eyes widened in amazement. Some tried to retreat, but then there was another explosion. Flames rushed everywhere, debris flew, people screamed, and some officials' bodies burned to the ground. Lufan stood at a distance, calm, stoic, lost in himself, staring at the flames. Then he smiled softly. "It's begun," he mumbled. The dead brother was no longer just a corpse. He had become a puppet, subject to Lufan's shadow. His eyes were no longer glowing, but his power had become even more terrifying. He grabbed two officials by the neck, and their bones cracked. Some disciples, buried under the rubble, some unconscious, some dead. The young master's followers shouted, "This is Long Jyn's brother! How could he turn against us? This is treason!" But then one of them whispered, "No. This is something else. He's not alive." Just then a man's eyes fell on Lufan, standing in the shadows but watching everyone. "Who is he?" he whispered. Miss Yi looked at him, and the voice became hateful. "Lufan! He's the one who sent Long Erhu to attack me. He's the one who reduced my palace to ashes." Lufan's smile hardened as he heard the words. He raised his finger and made a gesture. "Big Sister." His voice was calm, but it echoed with command. "You don't have to do anything. Now I'll show them how deadly my shadows have become." Big Sister was stunned. She hadn't imagined the power Lufan had within him. Now all eyes were on Lufan. And in the air, Long Jyn's dead brother swung like a puppet, as if death itself was silently descending. Master Yua's eyes flared with anger. He raised his sword high. "Today, I will destroy you with one blow." The sword, cutting through the air, rushed towards Lufan. Behind it, countless swords rained down from the sky as if heaven itself wanted to destroy Lufan. "No matter who you have, no. One can save your family now," Master Yua roared. But Lufan stood firm, calm, eyes as deep as shadows. Then he raised his head with a slow smile, and his gaze reflected the shadow dragon. "Come," he said one word, but that one word shook the sky. Suddenly a deep black storm rose. There appeared the shadow dragon. Night spread from his wings, an ancient rage filled his eyes, and one roar, the entire rain of swords, was reduced to ash in an instant. Master Yua's eyes widened. "What was this? Where did this dragon come from? It was nowhere before. Is this Lufan's?" He trembled. This was no ordinary dragon. It was the one that lives in the shadows, whose breath melts mountains. Lufan looked at it. There was nothing but vengeance in his eyes now. "You hurt my elder sister. Now you'll pay 100-fold, and I'll show you a power you've never seen."